United, 4 wins from 4, looking for 5-5 in all comps tonight with a game against Sociedad. Ronaldo, the reports are he's feeling happier there now. What do you think sort of created this turnaround at Manchester United? Mini turnaround, anyway.
It's more than a mini turnaround, I think, because it's Ten Hag stamping his authority on the football club and making it very clear in the case of Ronaldo that he's effectively a squad player. And when he's right or needed in big games, he will contribute. But when he's not, the team is not framed around Cristiano Ronaldo in the same way that it has been done in the past. And I think Ronaldo now is okay with that because it means perhaps less burnout and pressure in a World Cup year. And his priority, I think, is international success in Qatar in his last World Cup. And then if everything goes according to plan and Manchester United finish in the top 4, it's win-win. He may well extend and have one final flurry in the Champions League as well. So Manchester United is really interesting now because there's the same foundational issues. There's the same distaste for the ownership group. And there's still that kind of nagging feeling at the back of my mind that the strategy is ad hoc. Because if you really wanted to back Ten Hag, you'd have told him that if he really needed it, there was more budget available. But as I reported at the beginning of the window, Man U's budget was half their rivals. It was 100 to 120 million. And I remember getting hammered for saying that, but that's been proven to be true. And then later in the window, an extra 100 million or so was added. And I think if Ten Hag had known that that money was there right from the start, the way that he approached other deals might have changed. But I still feel like Manchester United's whole window was framed, the early part anyway, around waiting on De Jong. And why? Because they knew that the vast proportion of their transfer budget would have to go on De Jong. So there really wasn't room to kind of add a Casemiro or bring in an Antony. And then suddenly later in the window there was. So the big thing that's changed for Manchester United is an excellent victory over Liverpool that's kind of catalyzed everything and just the window shutting. And I think Chelsea will find this as well, that fans think of the window opening as exciting and the ability to strengthen. But strengthening is always only on paper. And whether you have strengthened is based upon the practice of if the results match what you've spent. And once a window closes, everything's locked. And then managers can really just focus in a very streamlined way on football only. They know exactly what they're dealing with, at least until January. And I think that that's helped Manchester United as well. So Ten Hag's just had time. He's had the ability to do the football his way. He's tweaked with the tactics. And a lot of his decisions have paid off in stark contrast to the opening 2 games of the season. So all credit to Ten Hag. And then with Ronaldo, I think has been proven. And again, it's always funny during the window because you get criticized for some of the things you report. But I'd said for weeks that Ronaldo was getting calmer and resigned to the fact that he would stay at Manchester United. My understanding was Dortmund was his last chance. They turned him down. So when people were talking about Sporting, when people were talking about Napoli, when people were talking about him still wanting that deadline day move, I'm not sure how much substance there was to that. And when Ronaldo says he's going to talk about things after the window, why is he saying that 2 weeks before the window shuts? And the reason I believe is because he knew at that point he was staying at Manchester United. There's no way that Ronaldo, unless he had a club lined up and he didn't at that point, there's no way Ronaldo is going to say, I'll speak about it in 2 weeks unless he already accepts where he's going to be. And then at that point, he has to kind of reinvent himself a bit as a squad player at Manchester United under a new manager, under a new system, under a new style. And all credit to him because it's not easy at the age of 37 to do that and realize you're lower down in the pecking order. So things have calmed at Manchester United, and without the Ronaldo circus of is he going to move, isn't he going to move? And I think Manchester United knew he wasn't earlier than most in terms of the line of reporting. Without the, are they going to sign De Jong? Without the, are the ownership group going to spend or not spend and how much? And are they going to find more money? And obviously without those back-to-back losses, which have now been trumped by the 5 consecutive wins, I just think there's a bit more stability at Manchester United. So now what Manchester United need to do is use the downtime between windows to add to that behind-the-scenes stability. They're getting it on the football field. As I say, all credit to Ten Hag and even Ronaldo, how he's handled the last few weeks. all credit to Anthony for coming in and scoring on his debut, and Casemiro will still make a big impact as well. So don't rest if you're Manchester United now. Let the wins create the PR and a bit more feel-good factor about the club. Let the new players add the new energy. And Manchester United are flying at the moment. But if they just watch that and don't do anything with the foundational issues, then one day at some point, they'll be back in the same problems again. So that transparency, that communication, that structure, are they going to bring in a sporting director? The ownership groups, communication with the fan base, the long-term plan to make sure that the culture at Manchester United changes. And a bit like at Chelsea, ripping off that Band-Aid and repairing the wound might be difficult and might actually create more drama in terms of behind the scenes and in the business side of the football club. But it'll be worth it, because if Manchester United can get back to their best on the football field, and Ten Hag is a really exciting prospect to do this, and at the same time make sure that the very structure and organisation and the ownership of the football club matches that progression on the football field, and Manchester United means serious business. But if they just keep winning games and everything behind the scenes becomes same old, then one day Ten Hag's going to, if he had any, pull his hair out, and without any, he's just going to leave the football club and be glad that he was bold in the first place. So I think that's the problem in the long term for Manchester United, just that this is great, but we can't only let results paper over the cracks. That Manchester United have been exposed this window on many levels about how the very core of the football club is run. So all credit to Ten Hag, because winning in that environment and with Ronaldo's backdrop is very difficult. So I'm delighted to see him and Manchester United on the football field do well, but well will not continue in the long term unless the issue of ownership and structure of the football club is resolved as well.
Yeah, listen, I hear that completely, and I think that the turnaround. This is what I say to Man United fans all the time: be happy with these wins, and I've been documenting, because I'm not prepared to just say we're doing better because the coaching's better or the system's better. There have been systematic changes. There's been disciplinary elements that have been allowed to happen, but it's 4 games, and we have to push for this to happen for 10 games, for the whole season, for 2 seasons, for 3 seasons, for 4. And not forget that, as you say, the budget was 120 million, 130 million, and we pulled some money out of a hat because of bad results. We should have invested that money irrespective. If we'd have won our opening 2 games, Casemiro and Anthony wouldn't be here, and that's why I will remain Glazer out until they sell, because although they've done the right thing, they were forced into doing it, and that for me is they're not the kind of owners that you want when we make as much money as we do.